Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Nishit Kumar and with me is Manoj Singh Rana, bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. As the world fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of caution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. The headlines. India releases new guidelines to upscale COVID-19 vaccination with private sector participation from March 1st. Côte d'Ivoire receives Made in India vaccines under Vaccine Maitri initiative. UN Security Council calls for COVID-19 vaccine ceasefires. U.S. House of Representatives approves $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan. First ever India Toy Fair inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi says it is a major step towards building self-reliant nation. New Delhi and Dhaka to expand and strengthen mutual cooperation in security and border-related issues. UN says China restricts basic civil and political freedoms in the name of national security and COVID-19 measures. And ISRO's PSLV rocket to carry Amazonia 1 and 18 other satellites in space on Sunday. India will start administering COVID-19 vaccine to people above 60 years and those above 45 years of age with comorbidities from March 1st. The preparation is underway for this phase of COVID vaccination. In this phase, India has authorized one of the world's first private vaccination schemes to run alongside its national program. The vaccine will be administered free of cost at 10,000 government hospitals to these groups, while the cost of the vaccine at 20,000 private vaccination centers will be borne by the beneficiaries. Private hospitals can charge up to 250 rupees per dose of COVID-19 vaccine during the vaccination drive starting from the 1st of next month. Health Ministry has said that states have been given freedom to use all private hospital impaneled under state government health insurance schemes as COVID vaccination centers. The states can also use health facilities of all the PSUs and all government health facilities as COVID vaccination centers. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shekhar in a tweet on Saturday said that Made in India vaccines landed in Côte d'Ivoire under the Vaccine Maitri initiative of Government of India, asserting India's vital role in equitable distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine in the world. Ambassador and Deputy Permanent Representative of India's mission at the UNSC on Saturday said India strongly believes that equity in access to vaccines across the world is important for mitigating the impact of the pandemic. India has assured Palestine of providing the second batch of medicines and also facilitate an early supply of vaccines to Palestine as COVID-19 assistance. New Delhi had earlier provided critical medicines and medical equipments to Palestine as COVID-19 assistance.
The UN Security Council has unanimously passed a resolution calling on all member states to support a sustained humanitarian pause to local conflicts in order to allow for COVID-19 vaccinations. While welcoming the historic resolution and upholding the importance of vaccine equity, World Health Organization WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said that concrete steps should be taken to waive intellectual property rights to increase vaccine production and get rid of the virus as soon as possible. In the resolution, the Council expresses its intention to review specific situations raised by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, where COVID-19 vaccination is being impeded, and to consider what further measures may be necessary to ensure that such impediments are removed and hostilities paused. It also asked developed countries to donate vaccine doses to low and middle income countries and other nations in need, particularly through the International COVAX Vaccine Sharing Facility. Canada on Friday approved AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine, including Covishield vaccine produced by the Serum Institute of India. 500,000 doses of the India-made vaccine are expected to arrive in the country on Wednesday. The vaccine is the third to be approved by the Health Canada, following the approval of vaccines developed by Pfizer Inc. with BioNTech SE and Moderna Inc. in December. Canada said it had secured 2 million doses through its agreement with Verity Pharmaceuticals Canada Inc. and the Serum Institute of India.
This morning, Health Canada authorized the AstraZeneca Oxford COVID-19 vaccine, as well as the Serum Institute of India's version, Covishield, which is sponsored in Canada by Mississauga's Verity Pharmaceuticals. In other words, we now have a third safe and effective vaccine independently approved by health experts in Canada. This is very encouraging news. It means more people vaccinated and sooner. Because for AstraZeneca, like we were for Pfizer and Moderna, we're ready to get doses rolling. Canada has secured 2 million doses of the Covishield vaccine through an agreement with Verity Pharmaceuticals and the Serum Institute of India. With the vaccine now approved in Canada, our first shipment of 500,000 of these doses will arrive within weeks. The remaining doses are scheduled for delivery over the next couple of months.
In the United States, the House of Representatives approved a $1.9 trillion coronavirus stimulus fund on Saturday. The bill cleared the House on a party-line vote of 219 to 212. The package seeks to boost vaccinations and testing and stabilize the economy. Lawmakers passed the bill aimed at giving money to individuals, businesses, states, and cities hit hard by the pandemic. President Joe Biden has been pushing for the relief package, saying it will be used to stimulate the economy and create new jobs. Republican representatives voted against the bill, which will now go to the Senate. The cash would be extended as emergency financial aid to households, small businesses, and state governments. The vote comes in the same week as the U.S. passed 500,000 coronavirus-related deaths. The United States on Friday imposed visa restrictions on 76 people from Saudi Arabia in connection with the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Washington will not tolerate individuals who threaten or assault activists, dissidents, and journalists on behalf of foreign governments. According to a declassified U.S. report, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman approved an operation in Istanbul to capture or kill Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered in 2018. Khashoggi, who was a vocal critic of the Saudi regime, was killed on October 2, 2018 in Turkey, where he had gone to obtain paperwork certifying his divorce from his former wife, Ala Nassif, in order to be able to marry his Turkish fiancée, Hatice Senziz. His killing had brought international outrage and battered the reputation of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Salman. The report assessing the Saudi government's role in the killing of Jamal Khashoggi was released on Friday by the U.S. Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI. The ODNI said that they based the assessment on the Crown Prince's control of decision-making in the kingdom, the direct involvement of a key advisor, and members of Mohammed bin Salman's protective detail in the operation. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia said it rejected completely the negative, false, and unacceptable assessment of a U.S. intelligence report on the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to the World News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday said the India Toy Fair is going to be a major step in their journey towards building an Atmanirbhar Bharat and strengthening the age-old traditions of the country. The Prime Minister was speaking after inaugurating the first ever India Toy Fair through video conferencing.
खिलौनों के क्षेत्र में भारत के पास ट्रेडिशन भी है और टेक्नोलॉजी भी है। भारत के पास कंसेप्ट भी है और कॉम्पिटेंस भी है। हम दुनिया को इको फ्रेंडली टॉयज की ओर वापस लेकर जा सकते हैं। हमारे सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स कंप्यूटर गेम्स के जरिए भारत की कहानियों को, भारत की जो मूलभूत मूल्य हैं, उन कथाओं को दुनिया तक पहुंचा सकते हैं। लेकिन इस सब के बावजूद $100 बिलियन के वैश्विक खिलौना बाजार में आज हमारी हिस्सेदारी बहुत ही कम है। देश में 85% खिलौने बाहर से आते हैं। आज हमें इस स्थिति को बदलने के लिए मिलकर काम करना है। हमें खेल और खिलौनों के क्षेत्र में भी देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाना है, वोकल फॉर लोकल होना है।
Mr. Modi said that most Indian toys are affordable and made from natural and eco-friendly items.
रीयूज और रिसाइकलिंग जिस तरह भारतीय जीवन शैली का हिस्सा रहे हैं, वही हमारे खिलौनों में भी दिखता है। ज्यादातर भारतीय खिलौने प्राकृतिक और इको फ्रेंडली चीजों से बनाते हैं। उनमें इस्तेमाल होने वाले रंग भी प्राकृतिक और सुरक्षित होते हैं। अभी हम वाराणसी के लोगों से बात कर रहे थे। वाराणसी के लकड़ी के खिलौने और गुड़िया को देखिए, राजस्थान के मिट्टी के खिलौने देखिए, ऐसे ही पूर्वी मेदिनीपुर की गलर गुड़िया, कच्छ के कपड़ा डिंगला और डिंगली है, आंध्र प्रदेश के इटिकोपक, बोम्मलू और बुधनी के लकड़ी के खिलौने हैं।
The Prime Minister appealed to Indian toy manufacturers to make that the toys are better for both ecology and psychology by using material that can be recycled.
ये खिलौने देश के युवा मन को हमारे इतिहास और संस्कृति से भी जोड़ते हैं और सामाजिक मानसिक विकास में भी सहायक होते हैं। इसलिए आज मैं देश के टॉय मैन्युफैक्चरर्स से भी अपील करना चाहूंगा कि आप ऐसे खिलौने बनाएं जो इकोलॉजी और साइकोलॉजी दोनों के लिए बेहतर हो। क्या हम ये प्रयास कर सकते हैं कि खिलौनों में कम से कम प्लास्टिक इस्तेमाल करें, ऐसी चीजों का इस्तेमाल करें जिन्हें रिसाइकल कर सकते हैं।
Mr. Modi said this first toy fair is not just a business or economic event, but a link to strengthen the country's age-old culture, sports and games. The Prime Minister pointed out that people from across the nation have done extensive researches on the toys of Indus Valley and Mohenjo-daro. Mr. Modi also pointed out that the world-famous game of chess originated in India. He added that chess was earlier played in India as Chaturang or Chadurang, and Ludo was also played as Pachisi. The Prime Minister said there is so much talent hidden in the toy industry and their strength will be increased multifold and the identity of the industry will be consolidated through Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign.
हमें दुनिया के बाजार को, दुनिया की प्राथमिकताओं को जानना होगा। हमारे खिलौनों में बच्चों के लिए हमारे मूल्य, संस्कार और शिक्षाएं भी होनी चाहिए और उनकी गुणवत्ता भी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मानकों के हिसाब से होनी चाहिए। इस दिशा में देश ने कई अहम फैसले लिए हैं। पिछले वर्ष से खिलौनों की क्वालिटी टेस्ट को अनिवार्य किया गया है। इंपोर्ट होने वाले खिलौनों की हर खेप में भी सैंपल टेस्टिंग की इजाजत दी गई है। लेकिन अब देश ने खिलौना उद्योग को 24 प्रमुख क्षेत्रों में दर्ज किया है, उसका दर्जा दे दिया है।
The Prime Minister said there are descriptions in scriptures about many different forms of Lord Ram's toys. He said local toys strengthen the feeling of unity among the kids. Mr. Modi said Indian toys not only entertain but also teach complicated scientific theories in a simplified manner. Lattu teaches gravity and balance and Gulel teaches potential and kinetic energy.
जब बच्चे लट्टू से खेलना सीखते हैं तो लट्टू खेल खेल में ही उन्हें ग्रेविटी और बैलेंस का पाठ पढ़ा जाता है। वैसे ही गुलेल से खेलता बच्चा जाने अनजाने में पोटेंशियल से काइनेटिक एनर्जी के बारे में बेसिक सीखने लगता है। पजल टॉय से रणनीतिक सोच और समस्या को सुलझाने की सोच विकसित होती है।
Mr. Modi urged the parents to play with their children and said toys do play a vital role in the learning process of children.
अच्छे खिलौनों की ये खूबसूरती होती है कि वो एजलेस और टाइमलेस होते हैं। आप भी जब बच्चों के साथ खेलने लगते हैं तो इन खिलौनों के जरिए अपने बचपन में चले जाते हैं। इसलिए मैं सभी माता पिता से ये अपील करूंगा कि आप जिस तरह बच्चों के साथ पढ़ाई में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं वैसे ही उनके खेलों में भी शामिल होइए। मैं नहीं कह रहा कि आप अपने घर का, अपने ऑफिस का सब काम छोड़ दें और घंटों बच्चों के साथ खेलते ही रहें, लेकिन आप उनके खेलों में शामिल तो हो ही सकते हैं।
The Prime Minister interacted with toy makers from Channapatna in Karnataka, Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh and Jaipur in Rajasthan. He urged the toy makers from Channapatna toy clusters who have been in the business for 200 years to try e-markets and newer ways to market their products and take their products global.
किसी भी संस्कृति में जब खेल और खिलौने आस्था के केंद्रों का हिस्सा बन जाएं, तो इसका अर्थ है कि वो समाज खेलों के विज्ञान को गहराई से समझता था। हमारे यहाँ खिलौने ऐसे बनाए जाते थे जो बच्चों के चहुमुखी विकास में योगदान दें, उनमें एनालिटिकल माइंड विकसित करें। आज भी भारतीय खिलौने आधुनिक फैंसी खिलौनों की तुलना में कहीं सरल और सस्ते होते हैं, सामाजिक भौगोलिक परिवेश से जुड़े भी होते हैं.
The Prime Minister has made a call for the promotion of handmade in India in parallel with the thrust on Make in India as a response to the growing global demand for handmade toys.
अगर आज मेड इन इंडिया की डिमांड है तो आज हैंडमेड इन इंडिया की डिमांड भी उतनी ही बढ़ रही है. आज लोग खिलौनों को केवल एक प्रोडक्ट के रूप में ही नहीं बल्कि उस खिलौने से जुड़े अनुभव से भी जुड़ना चाहते हैं. इसलिए हैंडमेड इन इंडिया को भी प्रमोट करना है. हमें ये भी याद रखना है कि जब हम कोई खिलौना बनाते हैं तो हम एक बाल मन को गढ़ते हैं. यही उल्लास हमारे कल का निर्माण करेगा.
India and Bangladesh have reiterated their commitment to further expand and strengthen mutual cooperation in security and border-related issues. The 19th Home Secretary level meeting between India and Bangladesh was held on Saturday. It was held in the backdrop of Mujib Borsho, on 50 years of Bangladesh Liberation War and establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries. The Indian delegation was led by Home Secretary Mr. Ajay Kumar Bhalla, and the Bangladesh delegation was led by Senior Secretary, Public Security Division, Mr. Mustafa Kamaluddin. Both sides appreciated the cooperation between the two countries and the action taken to address the menace of terrorism and extremism in an effective manner. India and Bangladesh reaffirmed not to allow the territory of either country to be used for any activity inimical to each other's interests. Bangladesh appreciated assistance provided by India in the field of training and capacity building for various security agencies. Early completion of pending fencing along the Indo-Bangladesh border was also discussed. Both sides also appreciated the effective functioning of the coordinated border management plan to control illegal cross-border activities. India and Bangladesh agreed to further enhance the level of cooperation to prevent smuggling of fake Indian currency notes and contraband. Both sides also appreciated the holding of the inaugural police chiefs dialogue in January this year, implementing the decision taken at the Home Minister level talks held in August 2019. Indian Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the government is committed to freedom of media and rights of individuals, but it is equally concerned about safety, security and law and order in the country. Inaugurating the centenary celebrations of Patna High Court in Bihar, Mr. Prasad said government is committed to complete the total freedom of media, but it is equally concerned about the security and sovereignty of India. The minister told that social media has empowered common people. Government respects criticism. One can even criticize the Prime Minister, but if social media is used to propagate hate, then action will be taken. The Law Minister shared the views that concerns had been raised over the rampant abuse of social media platforms and the spread of fake news. He said social media is not supposed to post disturbing comments against the judiciary and the knowledge of the judge.
United Nations Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet has said that China is restricting basic civil and political freedoms in the name of national security and COVID-19 measures. Bachelet told the Human Rights Council the activists, lawyers and human rights defenders as well as some foreign nationals face arbitrary criminal charges, detention or unfair trials in China. Referring to China's Xinjiang region, Bachelet cited the reports about arbitrary detention, ill treatment, sexual violence and forced labor. She added that there was a need for a thorough and independent assessment of the situation. Bachelet said she hoped to clinch agreement with Chinese officials about a visit to the country.
In China, strong progress has been made over the last year in reducing the prevalence of COVID-19 and its severe impact on the enjoyment of a broad range of human rights. At the same time, fundamental rights and civic freedoms continue to be curtailed in the name of national security and the COVID-19 response. Activists, lawyers and human rights defenders, as well as some foreign nationals, face arbitrary criminal charges, detention or unfair trials. In the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, more than 600 people are being investigated for participating in various forms of protest, some under the new national security law.
Activists and UN experts have said that at least 1 million Muslim Uyghurs are detained in camps in the western region of Xinjiang. The United States has said that it stands in absolute solidarity with Canada in insisting on the immediate and unconditional release of 2 Canadian citizens detained in China. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said this on Friday during a virtual meeting with Canadian Foreign Minister Marc Garneau. Businessman Michael Spavor and former diplomat Michael Kovrig were detained separately in 2018, shortly after Canada arrested Huawei Technologies Company Limited Chief Financial Officer Meng Wanzhou. Now let us listen to coronavirus updates across the globe.
The head of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, said on Friday that a recent decline in COVID-19 cases may be stalling. She described this development as concerning and urged that safeguards to fight the virus remain in place.
Things are tenuous. Now is not the time to relax restrictions. Cases, hospital admissions, and deaths all remain very high, and the recent shift in the pandemic must be taken extremely seriously.
South Korea on Saturday said that it has begun a review of Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine after the pharmaceutical firm submitted an application for approval. Meanwhile, 18,489 people received their first doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine in the country by Friday as it launched an ambitious COVID-19 inoculation campaign. The Philippines has extended partial coronavirus curbs in the capital until the end of March as the country awaits the arrival of vaccines. The decision follows a report of 2,651 new virus infections, the highest daily increase in more than 4 months. Brazil's capital city, Brasilia, went into a 24-hour lockdown for all but essential services on Friday to curb a worsening COVID-19 outbreak. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said on Saturday that the country's biggest city, Auckland, will go into a 7-day lockdown from early morning on Sunday after emergence of a new local case of coronavirus from an unknown source. In India, more than 142 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered to beneficiaries in the country so far. The country will start administering COVID-19 vaccines to people above 60 years and those above 45 years of age with comorbidities from Monday onwards. The preparation is underway for this phase of COVID vaccination. Meanwhile, India's COVID-19 recovery rate stands at 97.14%, with the recovery of more than 12,000 patients within the past 24 hours. Prashant Kumar Sinha for AIR World News.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news.
The Indian Space Research Organization will launch Amazonia-1 satellite of Brazil and 18 co-passenger satellites through PSLV C51 from Sriharikota on Sunday at 10:24 hours of IST. ISRO also confirmed that the launch rehearsal of PSLV C51 was completed. Amazonia-1 is the optical Earth observation satellite of the National Institute of Space Research, INPE. This satellite would further strengthen the existing structure by providing remote sensing data to users for monitoring deforestation in the Amazon region and analysis of diversified agriculture across the Brazilian territory. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press.
The Guardian writes that school children freed after abduction in northern Nigeria. According to the Washington Post, FDA advisors endorsed J&J coronavirus vaccine, paving the way for likely authorization this weekend. The New York Times writes that FBI said to have singled out suspect in Capitol officer's death. The Globe and Mail reports that the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate rising attacks against Asian Americans. South China Morning Post says that, like NASA's Swati Mohan, India's women scientists are breaking barriers in space exploration. The Sydney Morning Herald writes that a U.S. federal judge has approved a $650 million settlement of a privacy lawsuit against Facebook for allegedly using photo face tagging and other biometric data without the permission of its users. And Khalij Times reports that Bahrain expressed its support for the Saudi Arabian statement regarding the report submitted to the U.S. Congress on journalist Jamal Khashoggi's death. Prashant Kumar Sinha for AIR World News.
In a major embarrassment to the military government of Myanmar, its permanent representative to the UN today denounced the military coup during an informal briefing by the special envoy of the Secretary General to the UN General Assembly. Permanent representative of Myanmar Ambassador Yu Kwa Moi also gave the three-finger salute during his speech. The three-finger salute has become the trademark symbol of the protesters in Myanmar since the military takeover of the government in the country. Addressing the meeting, Ambassador Yu Kwa Moi said the landslide victory of the National League for Democracy (NLD) at the general elections manifests that the people of Myanmar are with State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. Supporting the protesters in Myanmar, he has said that he agreed with the view of the Secretary General that the military coup is not acceptable in the modern world. He has also called upon the UN to condemn the military coup and not recognize the regime by any means.
We urge the United Nations Security Council and international community that aspire to build peaceful and civilized global society to use any means necessary to take action against the Myanmar military and to provide safety and security for the people of Myanmar. In addition to the existing support, we need further strongest possible action from the international community to immediately end the military coup, to stop oppressing the innocent people, to return the state power to the people, and to restore the democracy.
During the meeting, India reiterated its support to the process of democratic transition in Myanmar. India's permanent representative to UN Ambassador T.S. Tirumurti said that the gains made by Myanmar on the path towards democracy should not get undermined.
Today is the death anniversary of revolutionary freedom fighter Chandra Shekhar Azad.
Born in Madhya Pradesh, Chandra Shekhar Azad, a daring freedom fighter and a fearless revolutionary, was involved in incidents like Khashoggi train robbery, assembly bomb incident and the shooting of Saunders at Lahore. He was also known as the revolutionary face of India. He received his preliminary education at Bhavra and was sent to Sanskrit Pathshala at Varanasi for higher studies. At a very young age, he got involved in revolutionary activities. He joined the non-cooperation movement launched by Mahatma Gandhi. Caught by the British police while indulging in revolutionary activities, he was sentenced to 15 whiplashes as his first punishment. After this incident, Chandra Shekhar got the title of Azad and came to be known as Chandra Shekhar Azad. Disillusioned with Mahatma Gandhi's suspension of non-cooperation movement due to Chauri Chaura incident, he turned extremist. Chandra Shekhar Azad was a believer in socialism. He, along with other revolutionaries, formed the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. He was a mentor to many revolutionaries, including Bhagat Singh. Chandra Shekhar Azad killed British Assistant Superintendent of Police John Saunders to avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. He remained a terror for British government as long as he was alive. On 27th February 1931, betrayed by one of the associates, he was besieged by the British police in Alfred Park in Allahabad. He fought valiantly, but seeing no other way, he shot himself and fulfilled his resolve to die a free man. He is still a hero for millions of Indians.
जो मिट जाएगी कौम के वास्ते ये जान जो मिट जाएगी नाम चमकेगा मेरे बाद सितारा होकर.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Home Minister Amit Shah paid tributes to the rebel leader. And before we close, a quick look at the headlines once again. India releases new guidelines to upscale COVID-19 vaccination with private sector participation from March 1st. Côte d'Ivoire receives Made in India vaccines under Vaccine Maitri initiative. UN Security Council calls for COVID-19 vaccine ceasefires. U.S. House of Representatives approves $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan. First ever India Toy Fair inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi says it is a major step towards building self-reliant nation. New Delhi and Dhaka to expand and strengthen mutual cooperation in security and border-related issues. UN says China restricts basic civil and political freedoms in the name of national security and COVID-19 measures. And ISRO's PSLV rocket to carry Amazonia 1 and 18 other satellites in space on Sunday. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite bhajan Vaishnava Jan by artists from the Dominican Republic on their Independence Day. And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.